Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Baseball Insiders Betting Edition. It is once again myself. It is Peter Dewey. We are joining you today to talk this weekend series between the Dodgers and the Astros. Potential World Series preview, possibly. I don't know. We'll get into it. They will be playing a 3-game set over the weekend starting on Friday. Peter, last time that we went live here on Baseball Insiders, we were giving out picks for the Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. I went 0-2. Please tell me you won at least one of the two, because I bet the under in both. Both offenses were bad heading into the series, and the over went over in both. The total went over in both. So 0-2 for me. Did you win at least one?
I did. I went 1-1. Was so very close to 2-0, but the Yankees lost in extras in the second game, which was bad for my team and also bad for the bets. But I'm treading water here, Ian. I really want like a 3-0 sweep in one of these series. I've been missing it. So I think this is our week. This is our week right here.
All right, I'm feeling good about it. Before we get into the series itself, a quick word from our sponsor for this show, which is DraftKings. You can see their logo and the promo code right there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. MLB fans, have you signed up for DraftKings yet? If you're a new user, you can receive $150 in bonus bets instantly after following just 3 steps. Number 1, create an account. Number 2, make a deposit. And then number 3, wager $5, at least $5 on any sport. Doesn't even have to be just baseball. And whether your first wager wins or loses, you will still receive the $150 in bonus bets. All you have to do is sign up using the code Baseball Insider, all one word. That is Baseball Insider. And not only does that get you the bonus, but it also supports this podcast / YouTube live stream. So if you're considering signing up for DraftKings, and you certainly should, do it now and use the code Baseball Insider to maximize your first bet. And that first bet that you make of $5 or more, it can be on one of these Dodgers against Astros games. You can tail either mine or Peter's bets, or, which might be the smarter move based on how we've performed in these recent live streams, go ahead and fade those picks and bet the opposite. Whatever it is, sign up for DraftKings. Promo code Baseball Insider, $150 in bonus bets after you place your first bet. And then check out the full disclaimer in the description of this episode. All right, let's talk Astros. Let's talk Dodgers. Two teams that are surprisingly not leading their division at this point of the season. It is June 22nd, and neither the Houston Astros or the Los Angeles Dodgers are winning their respective divisions. Let's get into a quick recap of where each team stands heading into the series. Peter, you go first. I'm going to get you to talk Astros, and then I'll talk some Dodgers.
Yes, sir. So Astros right now battling for second in the AL West. They're 5.5 games back of the Rangers, which I think if you told me coming into this season that the Rangers would be 5.5 games up in this division, I'd be a little surprised, especially because Jacob deGrom is out for the year. He needs Tommy John surgery, but the Astros still hanging around. Obviously, a little bit of a different look with the team this year. Justin Verlander now is a New York Met, so not having their ace in the staff has led to Framber Valdez taking over that position. He is second in AL Cy Young voting right now. He's been fantastic this year. There was a stat last year where he had, I think it was almost 20 consecutive starts where he allowed less than 3 runs and pitched exactly 6 or more innings. This year, he's been very much the same. He only has 1 start all season where he's allowed over 3 runs. So the Astros, at least they have a top-line starter. He won't pitch in this series, though, which is going to be something we're going to get into. There's a little bit of turnover in this rotation, a lot of different names and different arms that you're going to see. And one last thing with the Astros, normally one of the better teams offensively in baseball, little bit lacking here this season, 14th in runs per game at 4.48 and 15th in OPS over the last 30 days. So not the same Astros we've been used to seeing, but we've also seen them turn it on before and kind of make a run towards the end of the season. So I wouldn't hit the panic button if I was an Astros fan by any stretch at this point.
Yes, like you mentioned, kind of their biggest weak point, the reason why they aren't winning their division has been their offense. Completely average, both for full season numbers and kind of recent numbers over the last month. So we'll see if they can pick their offense up as we kind of approach the halfway mark of the season. By the way, I forgot to mention this at the top. Robert and Adam did not go live today, but an interview went live with Adam Duvall. So after this live show, go ahead and check that out. Adam Duvall of the Boston Red Sox talked about his World Series run with the Braves, talked about being on the Red Sox now, all that good stuff. So check out that interview as soon as we're done this live show. And Robert and Adam will be back at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday. But yeah, the LA Dodgers, by far the story of the Dodgers so far this season has been their bullpen. Absolutely terrible. Second last in bullpen ERA amongst all teams. I think it's the Athletics are the only team with a worse bullpen ERA than the Dodgers. 4.88 on the season. Gross. Even if you look at the past 30 days, 5.36 bullpen ERA. The amount of leads they've blown because of their bullpen has been disgusting. The rotation is still injured. Julio Urias, Noah Syndergaard, Dustin May, all on the IL. Dustin May potentially done for the season. At least, if not, he's going to be gone for a while. But Kershaw has been stepping it up. Still a little bit at the back of his career, but second on the odds list to win the NL Cy Young right now at plus 450 behind only Zach Gallen. And like I mentioned at the top, neither the Astros or the Dodgers are winning their respective divisions. Dodgers third place in the NL West as of recording this. They're 3.5 games back from the Diamondbacks, 1 game back from the Giants. Even the red-hot San Francisco Giants have leapfrogged the Dodgers lately. So Dodgers, not only are they not winning the division, they're not in second place. Now, they could make that up pretty quick. But as of right now, in third place in the NL West. Let's take a quick look at some odds for both these teams heading into this series. Still, both of them near the top of the odds board to win the World Series. Odds makers aren't completely losing faith in them just quite yet. Astros 10-1, plus 1,000 to win the World Series, plus 180 to win the AL West. So they are now underdogs to win the AL West, with the Texas Rangers taking over as the betting favorites to win that. Still favored to make the playoffs, but I guess based on the odds, make the playoffs as a wild card potentially. At minus 180. Dodgers plus 650 to win the World Series. I would be staying far away from the Dodgers to win the World Series. But then again, we have seen teams with bad bullpens get hot in the playoffs because you don't need to necessarily rely on your bullpen as much if you can manage your rotation a little bit better in the postseason. They are still favorites to win the NL West, though. Very, very slight favorites to win the NL West at minus 125. Giants and Diamondbacks both at around 3-1. So odds makers still confident they can come back in the division, and massive favorites to make the playoffs, still minus 800 to make the MLB postseason. All right, let's talk these games. We have the pitching matchup for all 3 games, which is a nice change of pace. We still only have odds for Friday night's game with us recording this on Thursday. I'm going to see if there's any latest odds for Saturday as of yet, but I don't think so. But we can assume what the odds are going to be since we have the pitching matchups. That's kind of the big thing. So let's dive into the first game. It is France against Sheehan. Sheehan making his second start in the majors. Peter, why don't you lead things off? What's your pick for this for game 1 on Friday night between the Astros and Dodgers?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dodgers in the first 5 innings on the money line here. I kind of mentioned this. The starters just not the names you'd expect to see from these 2 teams. But France has not been terrible for Houston this year, but he hasn't been great. He's got a 4.95 FIP, which is higher than his ERA at 3.42. And also, I think the one thing to look at in this series, because the Astros have 3 right-handed pitchers going, Dodgers are 6th in Major League Baseball in OPS against righties. They're actually a bottom 10 team this year in OPS against lefties. So against right-handed pitching, they're a much better offense. I think that's a key to look at when betting this series. And then Sheehan, obviously, like you said, Ian, this only his second start, but he didn't allow a single hit in his debut. Went 6 innings, didn't allow a hit. The Dodgers actually lost that game. Hence, their bullpen has been very bad. So that's why I'm sticking to the first 5 here. I think the starter, I like Sheehan here with a little bit of an early advantage. Not to say that France is a bad pitcher, but I like the Dodgers offense early. And I basically this entire series want no part of the Dodgers bullpen. So give me the Dodgers to win the first 5 innings.
Yeah, that's kind of the trick to betting on the Dodgers for the foreseeable future and maybe even for the rest of the season is how do you handle betting on the Dodgers with their bad bullpen? If you're going to bet on them, you're probably better off just betting on the first 5 money line, or you can kind of fade their bullpen while still kind of betting on them in some sense, which is what I'm going to do here in the first game, and that's just take the over. 9.5, a very high total for game one on Friday night, but that's the way I'm going to go. As you alluded to, Peter, the Dodgers offense still red hot, or at least good. If you look over the last 10 days, they're top 10 in both batting average and in OPS. Not top 3, but, based on the stat that you look at, hovering somewhere in the 6, 7, 8 range in OPS over the last 30 days. So they can certainly still score runs. And then obviously the bullpen is terrible. So, even if it's a low-scoring first 5 innings, we may see a lot of runs late in the game. I did contemplate Dodgers first 5 money line. This Emmett Sheehan guy, I'm going to go against him in his second start here. I don't know if he can put on as good of a performance here that he had in his first start, going through 6 scoreless innings, but maybe he can, because he's actually had a really good year in the minors. I don't think he pitched at all in AAA, but in AA, 1.86 ERA in 12 games, 10 starts, 53 innings. So maybe I'm kind of falling for a trap here and just assuming that a young pitcher is, going to allow a few runs in a second start, but maybe he will. Like I said, I don't think, unless Baseball Reference is lying to me, he never pitched at all in AAA this year. I mean, he's going up against the Houston Astros. It's not like he's going up against a completely terrible offense. So the way I'm going to handle this game for game one is I'm going to go ahead and take the over. But Peter, I do like your Dodgers first 5 money line bet as well. So there you go. I did just try to find some odds for Saturday's game. Doesn't look like they are posted as of yet, but we do have the pitching matchup for Saturday's game. So we can, at the very least, guess or assume what the betting odds are going to be. So the pitching matchup for Saturday is Ronel Blanco against my guy, Bobby Miller, who has become a darling of this program. It seems like every time we talk about the Dodgers, it involves a game involving Bobby Miller, including, I think, his first career start. We talked about that game on this show when I picked the Dodgers in that game because of my guy, Bobby Miller. So I'm going to go first here, Peter, for this game, because you know what way I'm going to go. I'm going to keep backing my guy, Bobby Miller. I'm going to take Dodgers first 5 money line. I will avoid the Dodgers bullpen as we keep talking about. Michael in the chat is more like Bobby Bullets. I love that. Bobby Bullets.
I like that a lot.
Although I do like just Bobby Miller because I like Bobby Miller. I just like saying it like that. He has been fantastic. 3-1 record, 2.83 ERA. The Dodgers have been pretty solid in the starts here. And Blanco for the Astros, a little bit of a concern with his FIP, a 5.59 field independent pitching. That is not a good sign. I think that might lead to some potential regression for him. And then obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we're just going to stick with the first 5 innings because I want no part of the Dodgers bullpen. I refuse to lose another heartbreaking bet on the Dodgers by letting their bullpen implode. So I will back my guy, Bobby Bullets Miller, Dodgers first 5 money line in game 2.
I like it a lot. I like it so much. I almost also took this pick, Ian, but I didn't want to be boring and have 2 first 5 Dodgers money lines and us on the same bet in this game. So I'm going with a different one. It's in the prop market. I like Bobby Miller's over outs recorded prop. I'm guessing it's going to be set around 16.5 or 17.5 in this game. You look at what he's done so far this season. Every single one of his starts, he's thrown at least 5 innings, which is a fantastic base for a young pitcher. So threw over 104 pitches. He threw 104 pitches in his second to last start. So clearly Dodgers do not have a problem stretching him out. And one thing I thought was interesting, he gave up 7 runs against the Giants in his last start, by far his worst start as a pro, but he still threw 5 2/3 innings in this game. So he got 17 outs recorded. So if you see a 16.5, 17 outs, pretty solid number. I think he's going to get through 6 here, which is why I'm going to take the over on outs recorded. You look at him on the season, 1.01 whip, 2.83 ERA. You got a 1.01 whip. You're not getting into trouble a lot. I think that's going to be good for him, keeping the pitch count down and also just staying away from giving up runs. And also, I think the Dodgers, the reason why I like the first 5, I think they're going to get to Ronel Blanco. Again, a righty with a bad ERA, bad FIP. Dodgers offense probably going to play pretty well. If you're the Dodgers, why not keep Bobby Miller in as long as you possibly can before you turn it over to that atrocious bullpen? I think his outs recorded prop is a great way to go in this game.
I love that bet, Peter, because like you said, if they want to start winning games at a higher rate, they need to start using their bullpen less and less. So why not stretch these guys out, especially guys with young arms, who have a lot of juice left in those arms. Let them go a couple extra innings to avoid any more implosions by the bullpen. So yeah, I like that bet quite a bit for sure. A little prop bet on the show.
Yeah, had to get one in there. Had to get one in there.
Love it. All right, let's talk last game. It's a 3-game series, so it is going to be Sunday. It is Hunter Brown pitching for the Astros against Tony Gonsolin of the Dodgers. Obviously, we don't have odds for this game. I'm going to assume the Dodgers probably slight favorites in this game. Probably not anything crazy, probably a slight favorite. Peter, why don't you start us off this time? What's your best bet for game 3 on Sunday, 7 p.m.? Is this the Sunday night baseball game?
I think it is. I believe it is. Yes, it is.
There you go. A little Sunday night baseball action here. What's your pick for that game?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over here. Just going to keep going back to the well that the Dodgers have hit righties really well. I think they're going to hit them at least one of these 3 games. So why not? Could be this game. Hunter Brown, one of my favorite young starters in Major League Baseball. He's pitched very well this year. He's got a 3.78 ERA, but his last 4 starts, he has a start where he allowed 5 runs to the Minnesota Twins, 6 runs to the New York Mets. So struggling a little bit as of late. His ERA has been up over the past month. And there's a couple numbers, his advanced numbers, that worry me a lot. He's 17th percentile on hard hit percentage and 25th percentile on average exit velocity. So if you look at some of his StatCast profile, he's in the upper 50s, upper 60 percentile on like expected ERA, expected batting average against, which is great, but he's giving up a lot of hard contact. So at some point, that's going to come back to bite him. It's looked like it's starting to bite him in a couple of these starts. Obviously, rookie pitcher, first full season, there's going to be some dog days where maybe the arm gets a little bit tired, hasn't thrown this many innings before. I think he gets knocked around a little bit here. And then Tony Gonsolin too. I think we've talked about him on this program a couple of times. The regression is coming at some point for Tony Gonsolin. He's got an over 4 FIP on the season. And in the month of June, 3 starts, he's got a 5.40 ERA. The regression is coming. I know the Astros offense hasn't been great, but Gonsolin is not pitching as well as a pitcher who has a sub-3 ERA. Eventually, it's going to catch up with him. So I like the over here. I'm guessing the total probably going to be at 8.5. I think we see 9 runs in this game.
Yeah, I don't hate that bet. I'm going to go with just the Astros money line here. You're just talking about Tony Gonsolin. I completely agree with you. I think we're going to see at least some level of regression. Is he still going to be a good, solid pitcher for the Dodgers in the rotation? Absolutely, yes. I don't see any reason why he's not going to be. But I don't think he's pitching as well to continuing to pitch at a 2.92 ERA level. He has a 4.12 WHIP. That's the second highest, 4.12 FIP. That's his second highest FIP of his career. His WHIP is 1.013, significantly higher than it was last year. So I do think we're going to see a little bit of regression here from Tony Gonsolin sooner rather than later. And then Hunter Brown, yes, he has stumbled a couple times as of late. I'm not willing to completely abandon him here just quite yet. I think he's just going to have some bad starts. I think that's just kind of the way that, a young arm is going to, he's going to experience those bad starts. But I'm not ready to bet against him for that reason. I mean, still, yes, he had a bad start against the Mets, not a good start against the Twins recently. A subpar start against the Blue Jays. He did have, pitched 7 scoreless innings against the Nationals sandwich in there too. So he seems to be a little bit of a roller coaster guy. What version of Hunter Brown are we going to get? I'm going to bank this time on him, on us getting the good version of Hunter Brown. And he has actually been better on the road this season, which is one of the reasons why I think we might get a strong performance from him in this game. His ERA drops from 4.12 at home in 7 starts at home down to 3.46 on the road. And his WHIP goes from 1.348 at home down to 1.104 at home. On the road. So I'm going to take the Astros here. And then once again, I've just kind of displayed the 3 different ways that you can handle the Dodgers' terrible bullpen. You can just take the over, the full game over like I did in game 1. You can take the Dodgers first 5 money line like I'm doing in game 2, or you can just completely fade the Dodgers and hope their bullpen implodes, which is what I'm doing in game 3 by taking the Astros money line. You have noticed that not in any of the 3 games am I betting on the Dodgers bullpen having a good game, because we are now June 22nd. the first month and a half, I thought maybe the Dodgers bullpen numbers were, a little bit of an outlier. Maybe they, start to turn things around, but their bullpen has actually gotten worse over the last 30 days. So it's time that we start taking that seriously and not expecting them to turn it around. Now is the time for us to expect them to pitch poorly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel I'm doing the same thing you are. I don't want any part of this bullpen. It's just after a while, like I've lost a few Dodgers bets myself this year. Like you just can't, like the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Like once you get this far into the season, like they only got so many guys back there. Like it's not like it's different guys. It's the same guys who are struggling night in and night out. So you can't just assume that they're going to turn things around at this point. You just kind of got to find other ways to bet on the team because it's still a good baseball team.
Yeah, and Michael makes a great point in the chat here that's worth pointing out. The Dodgers are getting Daniel Hudson back at the end of the month. They actually have a trio of guys who are going to be probably getting healthy and returning to the Dodgers here. Daniel Hudson, Jimmy Nelson, and Phil Bickford. So yes, that is something to keep an eye on. Once those guys get back into the Dodgers bullpen, maybe we change our strategy a little bit, but this weekend they are not back. So as of right now, let's stick the course. Let's either avoid the bullpen completely, or at least try to with the Dodgers' first five, or take the over, or just take the Astros. Or even if you're watching the game and the Dodgers, maybe have a one stroke or a one stroke and watch what it's called, 1 run or 2 run lead after the first 5 innings, maybe want to live bet the Astros and kind of bank on a Dodgers bullpen implosion, which we've seen time and time again. All right, there are our picks for the Dodgers against the Astros. Potential World Series matchup, but for this to be a World Series preview, we need both of these teams to start to win some more baseball games. To be fair, the Astros, let me throw you this before we close though, Peter. Which team has been more surprising to you this year in terms of a disappointment, the Astros or the Dodgers?
The Dodgers, I think for sure. They've dealt with some injuries, obviously, and Julio Urias, is bring up another pitcher, has been out of the lineup with a hamstring for about a month now. I think he's supposed to come back either at the end of this month. I know he has a rehab start on Sunday, so either end of this month or early next month, he should be back. But I just didn't think they'd be in third in this division. It's a credit to Arizona and San Francisco for playing as well as they have, because I don't think anyone expected them to be in the top 2 in this division. But I am a little disappointed in them because, yeah, they lost Trey Turner, but like most of that roster kind of stayed intact from last year. Houston, Altuve missed the beginning of the year. They lost Verlander. Like at some point they lost missing somebody else. Yuli Gurriel, I know they replaced him with Jose Abreu, but he got off to a slow start this year. So at some point they were going to, regress a little bit. And I still think they're in it. Like, when we were talking about the odds of the game, I was going to say, I think the best bet out of all those futures odds we listed is Astros to win the division at plus 180. I especially because the Rangers don't have DeGrom. I could 100% see this Rangers team that's been very reliant on their offense kind of regressing a little bit in the second half of the season, where Houston could end up winning the division. So I think they're still in it. And it's not saying the Dodgers aren't in the division race. I just think we've come to expect them kind of running away with the NL West every year because that's what they've done for several seasons in a row. And so now that they're not doing it, I'd say it's a little bit disappointing.
I agree with everything you said. It is actually, I'm looking at it now, and now that I'm kind of processing this, it's very eerie how similar the AL West and the NL West are playing out right now. Dodgers and Astros, both preseason favorites, both have almost the same record. Dodgers a 41-33, Astros a 41-34, not leading the division. Then you have the Rangers from the AL West and the Diamondbacks from the NL West, who are two surprising teams nobody expected to win the division, are now, 46-30 and 46-28, almost identical records. Crazy. Then you have another team that nobody really expected, who are right next to the Dodgers and the Astros, the Giants in the NL West and the Angels in the AL West, who's only half a game behind the Astros. And then you have the team that was promising that everyone thought was going to at least make the playoffs, the Mariners in the AL West and the Padres in the NL West. They're both sitting in fourth in the respective division. And then each of the two divisions have the crap team that everyone thought was going to suck, and they do suck. And the Rockies and the Astros. The AL West and the NL West are almost identical images of each other, which is kind of eerie at this point.
That is really crazy when you break it down like that. It is kind of wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, pivotal series for both of them here. It's probably the series of the weekend. For everyone betting on the series, best of luck. Go ahead and place those bets over on DraftKings. Use the promo code Baseball Insider, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets after you make a deposit, create an account, and then place a $5 wager or more on any sport. Michael says Mariners are going to sell a ton of arms at the deadline. Yeah, I don't know what the Mariners are going to do. I wish my guy George Kirby the best.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube, rate and review the podcast if you're listening to it. Go check out the Adam Duvall interview, and Robert and Adam will be back on Monday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, to talk any news from the weekend, I suppose. Tune in then. Best of luck. And Peter and I will probably talk to you sometime next week.